Welcome back to the Continuous Improvement Lab, Season 1, Episode 10. I'm really excited you're joining us today. We're diving into something, well, potentially transformative. Making information instantly visual, how it changes, how teams understand, how they act.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. Looking forward to exploring, the power behind just simple visual cues and how much impact they can actually have.
You've shared some really compelling material with us. We've got research, this great business case, industry insights too.
Yeah.
And they all seem to point to the same thing, this idea of data that's like right there, accessible, actionable. So our mission today, let's really unpack these sources. Let's see how this concept, instant visual management, could drive some real improvements for you. Oh, and a quick special thank you to Michael Dawson and Steve Wheeler. Their support was invaluable in putting this deep dive together.
Absolutely. Their contributions were incredibly helpful, really shaped our thinking on this.
So today, the spotlight's on instant visual management.
Right.
We're talking color codes, symbols, ways to just get complex performance at a glance.
And we'll be pulling from that research you mentioned, the Delta Tech fabrication story, which is quite compelling, and, wider industry trends too, see how it all fits together.
Get ready for, hopefully, some real aha moments. We're going to uncover how this approach can just cut through complexity and, honestly, boost productivity. And, hey, if you find this valuable, please do subscribe or follow. That way you won't miss out on future explorations.
Okay, let's get started.
Absolutely. Right, let's unpack this core idea first.
Yeah.
Instant visual management. That research excerpt you shared, it lays out the basics, right? Using simple things, red, yellow, green indicators to make performance trends, well, immediately clear. But what does instantly clear actually mean? Beyond just seeing a color, what's the real magic there?
Well, what's really fascinating is how it taps straight into our visual processing. Our brains are just wired for it. Instead of having to consciously, decode numbers or read through text, we instantly recognize patterns, spot anomalies when it's visual. A red indicator, you don't analyze it. It just triggers this immediate recognition problem. It drastically minimizes what psychologists call cognitive load.
Ah, right, the mental effort involved.
Exactly. It frees up your brain power for actually solving the problem, not just figuring out if there is one.
That makes total sense. It's like reading a detailed weather forecast versus just glancing outside and seeing storm clouds gathering. Your reaction time is just different.
Precisely.
Now, to see this really working, let's look at that Delta Tech fabrication case study. They were facing some pretty common challenges, weren't they? The kind of slow decisions that happen when you're just buried in spreadsheets and reports.
Exactly right. Delta Tech, they're a manufacturing company, and they were struggling with delays in spotting production issues because all their performance data was sort of locked away in these reports that took time to generate, time to analyze. By the time they figured out something was wrong, well, valuable production time was already gone, wasted.
So, okay, they decided to change things.
Yeah.
How did they actually bring this instant visual management idea onto their factory floor? What did it look like?
They put up these color-coded performance boards right there on the production lines. Think of it like a dashboard. Key metrics output, quality issues, machine downtime, all shown using red, yellow, green. Anyone could just glance over and see the status right now. And these weren't static printouts either. They were updated in real time throughout the shifts.
And it wasn't just the colors, was it? I remember the case study mentioning symbols and trend arrows, too. How did those help with the whole instant understanding thing?
Good point. Those added crucial context. So, say a downward arrow next to a yellow indicator for throughput. That immediately tells you performance isn't just below target, it's actually getting worse, it's trending down. This kind of layered visual info let the teams anticipate problems, maybe act proactively, not just react when things were already bad.
And the results were, well, pretty striking, especially how fast they saw them.
Within just 2 months, which is quick, Delta Tech saw a 13% improvement in OEE. That's overall equipment effectiveness, a really key manufacturing metric. And, maybe even more importantly, a 16% reduction in unplanned downtime. That's huge for costs and schedules.
Wow.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's not just about seeing the problem faster. It's about the shared understanding the visuals created. When everyone on the team instantly sees that red light, the problem becomes collective. It builds this sense of urgency, shared problem solving, something static reports often just don't achieve.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. The case study highlights faster corrective actions. It's obvious, I guess, that putting up a colored board doesn't magically fix a machine. So how did seeing the problem instantly actually lead to quicker fixes?
The visual cues acted like an immediate trigger, a call to action almost. When a red or yellow light popped up, it was a clear signal. Something needs attention right now. And this empowered the frontline teams, the operators, the supervisors, the people closest to the actual work. They could investigate and start taking steps immediately without waiting for layers of management approval or the next formal meeting.
Right. So instead of waiting for the end of shift report or tomorrow's meeting to discuss yesterday's numbers, they could see, say, a machine status turn red for downtime, and boom, they're troubleshooting or calling maintenance right then and there.
Exactly. The case study gives examples like teams reallocating people to clear bottlenecks they saw visually on the throughput board, or maintenance getting called the second and equipment status turned red, stopping a minor hiccup from becoming a major breakdown. It's all about shrinking that lag time, the time between spotting the issue and actually doing something about it.
And beyond the numbers, which are impressive, the case study also mentioned a pretty big shift in the company culture. It wasn't purely about efficiency, was it?
Not at all, no. That increased transparency from the boards. It made teams feel more informed, more confident, more engaged. Supervisors talked about better communication between shifts and this stronger sense of ownership among the frontline staff. When people can clearly see the impact of their work, good and bad, and see that action happens based on that visual info, it just creates a more proactive, more responsible environment. And this really raises an important question for you, the listener, to think about. How does that instant visibility, that shared picture of performance, actually grow a deeper sense of ownership and accountability inside a team?
I guess it makes sense. When you can literally see how your piece fits into the bigger picture and the immediate results if something goes off track, you probably feel more invested. It turns abstract goals into something tangible, visible, something everyone can connect with.
That's a great way to put it, a key insight. Okay, so what does this all mean beyond just Delta Tech's experience? Let's zoom out a bit. Look at the broader industry trends, what the research is saying about how widely applicable this idea is.
Yeah, it's fascinating how this seems to be popping up across so many different sectors. The sources you shared really suggest a kind of widespread shift towards visual communication for performance.
Definitely. In manufacturing, warehousing, supply chain, there's a really strong move away from dense, static reports towards more dynamic, at-a-glance visual tools. The Lean Enterprise Institute, for instance, they estimate that companies using visual management well can cut their response time to operational issues by up to 25%.
25% reduction in response time. Wow. That could make a massive difference to efficiency, to costs.
Huge difference. And it's not just physical production lines. Think about engineering, supply chain project management, visual tools like Kanban boards, often color-coded for task status, potential blockers, they're becoming standard practice. Deloitte's research, it suggests teams using these visual tracking methods see about a 14% drop in project bottlenecks. And, maybe just as important, better communication across different functional teams.
That goes into the logistics side too, right? Like managing inventory and orders.
Oh, yeah. In modern supply chain control towers, in warehouses, real-time visual dashboards are key, showing inventory levels, order status, how equipment like forklifts are being used. They've been shown to cut fulfillment errors by up to 12%. Again, it's that direct link. Visual clarity leads to operational accuracy.
It's incredible how this, well, seemingly simple approach leads to such concrete benefits in so many different areas. I was also really interested to see it applied in fields you might think of as more data-heavy, like marketing or services.
Right. Even in those less tangible domains, the power of visual management shows up. HubSpot's data. It suggests marketing teams using visual dashboards to track campaign results can adjust their strategies maybe 16% faster because they can just see instantly what's working, what's not resonating with customers. And in customer service, visuals for things like real-time call queues, customer satisfaction scores, they help teams hit their service level targets, reduce wait times. It gives them that immediate picture of the current demand and performance.
It really does sound like this isn't just, a nice to have or a passing trend. It feels like it's becoming a fundamental part of how organizations just operate more effectively.
Across the board. That's the key takeaway, I think. The consistent theme, no matter the industry, is this. Simplify complex information visually, because that empowers faster, smarter, more effective action at every single level. Leadership is getting it too. They see visual management isn't just for monitoring, it's a powerful tool for transparency, for building a problem-solving culture, for driving continuous improvement. It's getting baked into modern frameworks. Lean, agile, even Industry 4.0, all aiming for that crucial instant understanding.
Okay, so as we start to wrap up this deep dive on instant visual management,
Yeah.
what are the biggest takeaways for you? What really stands out?
For me, it's really the power of simplicity. Transforming that complex data into easy-to-get visual cues, it just dramatically speeds up decision-making and leads to real, tangible productivity gains like we saw with Delta Tech's OEE and downtime numbers.
Right. And it's not just the hard numbers. It seems to foster this more engaged, more responsive culture, a more effective way of working together, really, across all sorts of industries.
Exactly. By making performance instantly visible, you empower your teams. They can spot issues proactively, take immediate, informed action, and that leads to real progress you can measure.
It definitely makes you think about your own work, doesn't it? Consider those areas where complex information just slows things down. Where could applying this idea of instant understanding maybe unlock new efficiencies, give you clearer insights?
It's a powerful question, definitely worth reflecting on. And for anyone wanting more information or maybe exploring how these principles could apply in your specific situation, please do reach out via our website at www.karasinnovations.com.
And a special thanks to our executive producer and founder, Lanier Johnson, for his vision and for making these deep dives possible.
And thank you, our listeners, for joining us today as we continue exploring the really fascinating world of continuous improvement.
We'll be back soon with another exploration. Until then.